Hey guys, it's Tuesday afternoon and we are live with another Speedway Chat show. I'm here on my own today. Childsy is going to be here ASAP. He is running late from work today. There have been loads of comments and we are going to make our way through them. So yeah, thanks very much. Can you all just message below where you are watching from? And obviously, if there's any questions you want to ask, today's the day. Me and Childsy are going to give you our best honest opinions on what's going on, one with British Speedway, with Grand Prix, things like that. And yeah, you might even have questions that we haven't even thought of. So yeah, get in the comments down below. Let us know where you're watching from. If you've got any questions, what you want to ask us. Anything at all, and Childsy will be with us in a second. So let's in fact, I know what we can do quickly before we do anything. So the gold,
and he goes out and seal of approval.
Here we go. So the gold stars that I was talking about last week, a lot of people were saying, how do they do it? They didn't understand how it works. And at the bottom of the video, there will be a little star emoji, and you can click on that star, and I'll show you the little video.
Seal of approval, and he goes out and does it for what I can only describe as probably the best thing that British Speedway might see this year. So super excited to speak to Rob about that. And we got a few surprises for Rob as well, which is
So that's it for the gold stars. All you need to do is hit those things there. And talking to Childsy, we're going to give away some merch if we can hit targets throughout the video of those gold stars. So if you want to be in with a chance to win some of our Speedway Chat Show merch, then get down in the comments and get some gold stars going. Oh, here he is. He's got his Robert Lambert hat.
Straight in there. Yeah.
How are you, Childsy?
Oh, Gerry, I'm going to stop working.
Is that pants in the background just hanging out your drawer?
It's a shirt, Gerry.
All right. There we go. How good?
Yeah, God, not everyone's friends with me on Facebook, but if you were, you would have seen the stuff Robbie Lambert sent me. I've got to get it, actually.
Yeah. Where's he gone now? Oh, look at that.
Jacket. And a shirt.
Yeah.
Hey. So, what do you
Spoiled.
send you, Jez?
Sweet FA, actually. I got nothing. Let me down.
Never mind.
Thought it was mates.
Literally just got in the house from work. Anyway, my missus kicked me upstairs because she's cooking dinner. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Winner. That's why you married her, isn't it? Looks after you.
Something like that, mate. Something like that. What have you been up to, Gerry? You still dating?
I'm definitely not dating. Killing me. I had my first magic gig in 2.5 years on Saturday. Went to London. A friend of mine phoned me, and who's one of my old clients, and was like, "Can you come and do some magic?" I said no, and he sort of talked me into it. So I had a weekend away. Went to London and Essex actually, and did magic. It was pretty good. Something different. What else have I done this week? I passed my drone license theory test, so I can nearly fly a drone legally, and we'll get lots of cool shots for Speedway Chat Show.
Some of the people watching must be friends, because some I just seen, was it Alan Atherton? Was it? What size were they again? Yeah, they sent me mediums, and I don't know if it's the Facebook Live thing that makes me look a medium, but I'm certainly not a medium. So I'll arrange something for them. But maybe at the European Championship party they're having up at the farm, might exchange it then. Good stuff.
So, Childsy, what are we going to kick off with? We got lots of things to talk about, haven't we?
Yeah. Look, I think I just seen some stuff on the way back, and there was a bit of a thread going, wasn't there, amongst some people around Speedway, and look, I thought, geez, I'm going to chip in with that. So I'll start it off with my views on British Speedway. And I just got to start by saying Coca-Cola, the biggest drinks brand in the world, still advertise. And that's because if they don't, someone's going to tell you to drink something else. And how that relates to Speedway is quite simple. A promoter needs to promote the sport. And I know our crowd is loyal, but over the years, when I first come to this country, I think Coventry had Billy, Greg, Brian Anderson. Ipswich had Ricardson, Golub, Chris Louis. I think there was Laramsky down at Poole with Lee, or Lee might have been at Swindon with Jimmy Nielsen, etc. So the big names have certainly been here, and Poland's always been around, and the money's always been good in Poland. So we can't take Poland away from it. What I think I see is complacency in British Speedway, where they say the people are going to come. And yeah, look, the people come, but if you get a good day like today, they're not going to go to Speedway. They're going to go somewhere else. You really need to be at the forefront of promoting what your business is. We do it on the chat show by spending a little bit of money to, get people to watch. Otherwise, people forget we're on. British Speedway clubs need X amount of people, Gerry, to what they say break even, don't they? And it's no different to flying on a jumbo jet. A jumbo jet from London to Sydney needs 500 economy paying passengers, or it needs 300 economy passengers, 80 business class, and 10 first class. So only 400 passengers when you break it down. I think the big market's been lost in British Speedway in getting that business class and first class passenger, i.e. corporate people. But then we start to look at the facilities. There's not many facilities that can offer that. So what they need to do, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, Jez, to get British Speedway back, is start believing in the product, start getting people to be treated like gods. Because if you go to Cardiff and every single person that buys a general admission ticket walks away with exactly the same end product, but not everyone's paid the same price. You'll get your start line people that want to be seen at the start line, not because it's the best view, it's because they're the most expensive seats, and people look where the most expensive seats are and see who's sitting in them. They in turn look behind to the corporate boxes and see who's sitting in the corporate boxes, not because it's the best view in the corporate boxes, it's because they paid more money, and so on and so on and so on. So my argument is, if you give someone the option to spend a little bit more money and tell people that they're going to be a VIP, they're going to be waited on, they will spend it. We're human beings. And Speedway has fundamentally lost the ability to do that. And I'm not calling any promoter out. I'm just saying as a whole. As a whole, you go to the tracks week in, week out. You see Bob, Jane, and Mary standing on bend 1. You see Dick and Dave on bend 3. And it's the same people. But you go back the next week and Dick, Jane, and Dom might not be there because it's their Elvis weekend down in Porthcawl, and they always do that. But who's replacing that? Where is Speedway saying, we're on, come and see us? I don't see it. And that's where I think British Speedway's lost, Jess.
Yeah, I think, and this is nothing on Matt Ford. I think Matt's got probably a lot on. He's a businessman. He's doing lots of things. But I think it's a brilliant thing that he's got his son in to run Poole Speedway this year. It hasn't happened. That's no fault of his son's. But what his son's going to bring in is a completely fresh set of eyes and a perspective of the target audience of people who we want at Speedway. You know, the old fans that have been going to Speedway since the 70s, they're going to turn up whatever, right? The amount of times I've been to a Speedway meeting and you've got the older generation moaning about, oh, there's somebody on the centre green screaming and shouting, and no, that person isn't screaming and shouting, he's trying to be entertaining, you know, or they don't like the music, or, you know, it's really horrible to say, but you sort of got to not care about them. Those people are going to turn up every week. They're going to moan every week about something because that's the type of people they are, you know. And we need, when people turn up, to a Speedway meeting, they need to turn up with their family and go, yeah. I mean, there's some tracks in the UK are charging nearly 20 quid a head, right? So you go a family of 5, you're spending a lot of money to be entertained. And if you know nothing about Speedway, you don't know how the point system works, you don't know whatever, right? You're standing there waiting for 15 races. The 15 races are great. That 15 races is spread out over 2 or 3 hours. What else is going on in that time to keep those people entertained?
Yeah.
You know, and are those people going to turn around and go, yeah, we spent 60 quid going to Speedway the other night and it was all right?
Yeah, look,
you know, there's a lot more going on. It needs to be a production. It needs to be a show. You know, you don't go to a monster event going to drifting and things like that, and it's just the drifting. There's lots of things going on. The same with Red Bull, the same with Nitro Circus, the same with X
That
Games.
comes back to the speculate to accumulate, and unfortunately, Speedway is the product. However, I totally understand. I remember growing up in Australia, going to a place called Gosford Speedway, which, you know, all the Australian internationals cut their teeth out. Is a great track, and you know they had little things in between like clowns and things like that, and you know, hitting balls into the crowd, you know, in between track grading and stuff. So there is that element that there is other stuff there, but let's not get into that bit where, you know, we're trying to move away from the actual thing. It is motor racing, and you know, it needs to be the main thing, doesn't it? But yeah, 100%. There needs to be something. I remember, and she just added me on Facebook today. Funny enough, Debbie Hancock over at Somerset. I used to go back there and do some things, and we started giving back to the crowd. So I come up with a thing at Somerset years ago that we done. I just pick a random person in the crowd, and they could, if they pick the race time within half a second either side, then they won, whether it be a family pass back, something from one of the boys. There was always a prize. One of the sponsors might have gave you a go-kart ticket or things like that. And once someone wins something, or once someone has something to talk about, that's where that effect comes in. So it goes back to my thing about staging the ticket prices in terms of, look at it like an aeroplane. Have your economy, have your business, and have your first, to minimize the amount of numbers that need to come in to break even, instead of charging it all on the admission. So if I was, when I was part of Newport Speedway, if you would see it, if they had a box up there, whoever had it, whichever business had it that week, you can bet your life all week they were talking about what they were doing this weekend, because they were going to be VIPs, or they might have had tickets to give, you know, oh yeah, come down, we're going to be in a box, you know, it's in a glass thing, we've got our own toilet and all that sort of stuff. So that experience,
highlights in Newport, that, isn't it?
What's that?
The toilet, that's a highlight in Newport, isn't it?
There was a few there, Gerry. Yeah. But do you see what I mean? It's about getting people talking, that they're elevated, and that Cardiff's the best example. It's no better view on the main straight at £120 a ticket than it is in Bend 1 on the middle at 80, or on the lower tier at 25. But people pay to be in those privileges, or what they perceive to be a better offer that they're in.
Yeah.
You know, and I bet, you know, I'm not I do it. I got box tickets last year, and my little social media that I had, I flaunted it, because people talk about having good stuff, and it would stem down the line. You know, whoever's got a start line ticket, or that VIP package that they do at 200 quid with start line, you can bet your bottom dollar, Jez, that they're saying, are you going to Cardiff? Oh, what ticket did you got? Oh, I've got the VIP. They want to tell people. They want to tell people that they're a part of that little elite group. And I think that's where British Speedway needs to go back to generate revenue that way, and start having a tiered system where people are prepared to pay more, but they get more in return. Then you might start having the good riders come back, because there's a bit more revenue there. It's not a fix overnight at no stretch, mate. There's no fix for British Speedway overnight. But that's my gripe with British Speedway is Coca-Cola still advertised, but your local speedway seems it doesn't need to, because people will come that come, you know, and yeah, that's me. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the you know, you've got to look at, for a start, you've got to look at the people that you want to attract. You know, who do you want to attract? What are they interested in? You know, if, for instance, you want to target the 20 to 30-year-old people, you know, if they don't already know what Speedway is, we need to look at what the people who are likely to come and have a look at Speedway are, and then interact with that scene to bring them in from other areas. You know, the chances are that if they already know what Speedway is and they don't turn up, then they're probably not that bothered. And, you know, but we can find other fans from other places. And, you know, there's 60 million people live in the UK. We haven't got to fill that many. 60 million people live in the UK. And, you know, it's not a massive percentage of those need to come and fill Speedway stadiums up. You know, football do it. I think there's a part of it that is on the fans. You know, I think the fans should be saying, you know, I had a great night at Speedway the other night and promoting it. Sometimes, yeah, you have a shit night at Speedway. That's it. But to you know, if you go off and tell everybody, oh yeah, I had a shit night at Speedway the other night, then who wants to go to something that's been recommended as shit? You know, like, it's a no-brainer. You know, I think we all need to be a little bit more positive. Yeah, I see there's a comment here saying, unfortunately, the cost keeps rising. Yeah, and that's because of the numbers. You know, there's a certain, like Childsy said.
How much is it to get in the Speedway, Jez?
I've heard that it's up to 18 quid. I think it's Paul, 18 quid to get into Speedway. I mean, comment below how much it is to get into your local Speedway and tell us where it is. But yeah, I think it's nearly the £20 per person mark.
So there you go. The loyal fans are the ones that have been
Kent, 19 quid.
Hey?
Yeah. 19 quid at Kent.
What? Is that Sittingbourne?
No, Kent. Is Sittingbourne at Kent?
Yeah.
It's Kent Speedway at Sittingbourne, is it?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Like, that's... And what league are they in?
What's that?
Geez, got loads of questions here, haven't we? Let's sorry chaps, don't agree if the product got watered down and you were paying more. Huh.
Yeah, but if there was twice the amount of people going, they wouldn't have to charge so much. That's also the reality of it. You know, if we could get more people turning up, the clubs aren't going to have to put the money up. The reason the money's gone up to where it's at is because the riders have wages to pay. You know, the biggest expense is the riders' wages, you know, and running the vans and the bikes and everything, that cost isn't going to go away. So, you know, it's getting more people in to make that cost come down. You know, we're never, you know, if you only had 200 people turn up, it's going to be 100 quid, you know, instead of 20 quid a head.
Yeah. Oh, just trying to get this so I'm comfortable. Me feet are killing. Here we go. So
there we go. So there's someone here saying that at Cardiff it's 29 quid to get into Cardiff and watch Cardiff, but you're paying nearly 20 quid to go into your local Speedway meeting.
Yeah, and look, I get that bit, but I guess the point I'm trying to put across is the person that pays 29 quid at Cardiff gets the same result as the person that pays 100. That person that paid 100 gets the same end product as the person that paid 300-400 for a box.
Yeah, but what these people are saying here, Childsy, is they're paying nearly as much to get into a league meeting here, or watching the best in the world for 29, and it's all about numbers. So the more people we can bring along to Speedway and promote Speedway in a positive light, the clubs can then bring that cost down. You know, I guarantee if you could double the crowd at a meeting, and
the cost,
you know, The cost will go up. Yeah, you know, if they can get double the amount of people, they can bring the price down and make it more affordable. You know, the riders' wages are going to be the same if you've got double the amount of people there than if you've got half the amount of people there. The riders' wages and the expenses to put on a meeting is going to be the same. So, you know, if you want the money to go down, then we need to sort of work out a way of getting more people in. And I honestly think it's my personal opinion. It's making it a production, and it's a show. You know, you're paying for a show. You know, you go to Cardiff. There's normally a pre-show. There's, you know, someone talking in the middle, or there's giveaways and all the rest of it. And obviously, Cardiff has an amazing atmosphere anyway because of the amount of people there. But it's you know, we've got to get the numbers up, regardless. If you want the money to go down, numbers have got to go up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's British Speedway. I seen a comment earlier today, Jez, but it's not there. It was from a guy called Gary Claridge, I think. Right. It was about GPs, but I can't see it. I think the question was, I think there was a few around the GPs, but I can't seem to see the questions. Maybe you got them your end. The question was, do you think one of the Aussie boys can win the GPs this year? So I don't know whether that was aimed at me, but I'm happy to answer it. Do I think Max or Jason can? No. Do I want them to? Yeah, absolutely. The reasons why I don't think we'll have an Australian world champion, purely as of today, right here, right now, whatever the date is at 7-something PM, there's just no form there. So Max, I think, has got a big future. I think Max won't go into any race not thinking he can't win. And geez, I'd love him to prove me wrong. But look, I think Max is going to be in the top half for sure. I think he's got enough consistency, enough natural talent to get there. I don't think he's expecting to be world champion. I think if he finishes in the top 8, that'll be great for him to build on that going into 2021. JD at the moment's got some serious problems, which I see, and if I'm seeing them, a lot of people are seeing them, which is bike speed. There was an incident on Friday that really stood out. He was out of gate 2. I think it was Madsen on the inside. Jason made one of his electric starts, which was synonymous with him winning the world title a couple of years back. But by the time they come out of turn 2, he was last. Jason's got a real big problem in that first lap, and you just can't get away with it anymore. Jason's not one of the most naturally gifted on a bike, which puts him into a different sort of a setup going into the corner. He doesn't hang off, doesn't throw big shapes. He's naturally upright sort of a rider, which is sort of, you know, doesn't help when you're behind, when you see Bartos and Emel throwing the big wide ones and leaning over it and doing that. Jason's style sort of forbids him from doing that. So Jay, you know, as much as I think Jay's a big talent, I think he'd be as worried as anyone with the bike speed he's got at the moment. It's just doesn't seem to be going. And let's not forget, Jason Doyle is arguably normally one of the world's busiest speedway riders, which rides all the leagues and rides. And I think that contributes to his success. He needs to be on the bike. He needs to be confident. He needs to be doing things. And I hope it turns around for him. He's got some big first lap issues at the moment, and that's only my point of view. And for that reason, I can't see him being on the top step. I love for Sweden to kick in, which it has tonight, and start to getting more meetings before it. But in a nutshell, no, I don't think one of the Aussie boys, unfortunately, will be world champion this year. It's no for no lack of want, but I just don't see it happening. But yeah, I'd love them to prove me wrong and shut me up. I really would. But, I really feel for Jay. Something's not clicking with him this year. his bike speed's off, and he's really hard on himself, Jason. Like really, really demanding on himself. You can see, he doesn't take coming second real good. But Max, Max as well. I think another year under his belt, top 8, and I think Max will walk away quite happy. I put Max in about 5th or 6th, just because he can come up and do things, and there's a few boys not all firing. There's not many guys firing this year, Jez, is there? But I just don't think our boys will do it. What about the Brits? You think Ty's got a chance?
I don't think you could ever rule Ty out. I think he's got so much talent on a bike. He's got quick kit. On his day, but not even on his day. I think Ty's biggest thing is he's consistent.
Yeah.
If he's unlucky through injury or something like that, then I think that's the only thing that would stop him from being in the top 3. I'd love to see Ty win another world title. Yeah.
I think
I can't put my finger on anybody who is going to be world champion this year. And I think because of the format.
Do you know what? I think there's one guy that's doing it, which is Emel. I think if Emel takes that and let's not forget, they're Polish rounds, aren't they?
Yeah.
And Emel seems to have something working. I think this guy, if he was in the mix this year, given what he's just done in SEC, I think he'd give it a go.
Yeah.
But the money the bookies have got on Ty, 13-2, so 7.5 to 1, is truly outrageous for a 3-time world champion. Is he 3 or 4?
3 times.
I mean, 3 times, yeah. For a 3-time world champion. So I'll probably have a bit of a wedge on Ty, just because he's been there, done that, and when it counts, Ty normally steps up. So that's big money for Ty.
I'd really like Emel to win. I think he deserves it. He's definitely been mixing it up for years. But the series being over 6 weeks, you could have a rider who's on form for 6 weeks. What you don't get is a rider that's on form all season. And that's what the Grand Prix series is sort of picks out, those people that are on good form and people that are, on the form of their life, if you know what I mean, and become world champions.
Yeah.
It's that consistency, which is the good thing with the Grand Prix series.
So what have we got? We've got 4 tracks, haven't we, Jez?
So there's 4, possibly 5 tracks, because the one Torrens on the 3rd of October, and then the day after is not confirmed, or is it the day before is not confirmed? So there's 2 in Czechia, and then there's the other 3 are in Poland.
But we're running at the same track consecutively.
Yeah. Apart from the one in October, it's not been confirmed.
The big thing here is, when you speak to riders and they say the track was so different to what practice was. Yeah. So they're talking about running 2 consecutive Grand Prix meetings on the same track. Yeah. Night after night. So you won't see, I don't think, and I'll put it out there, I don't know, prove me wrong if you hold me to it on this one, but I don't think we'll see a double winner at any of the Grand Prix. The track will be that different on the next night than it would be on the first night.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
But then also you've got, for instance, you've got Ty and Magic that have both got Grand Prix at their home track, and then Emel's not got one at Lesno.
Yeah, but that goes out the window, Jez. We're talking about the GP track curator coming in to Roslav. The tracks, mate, they're all circles, right? They're world-class riders, and just because it's at your home track, I don't think it holds anything, especially the way we've seen the tracks this year in Poland, from slick to over grippy to under grippy. It's going to be a lottery, but we're talking about 16 of the world's best riders riding on a Friday night in a Grand Prix and then going back the next day and expecting that track to hold up and produce. I don't know. I don't care who the track curator is. That's going to be a blue groove. That's, I think they've overstepped the mark having Grand Prix back to back night after night. I don't think any track in the world can sustain it and provide an even playing. But look, again,
it's what, 23 races, eh? It's not just 15 races, it's 23, isn't it?
It's a bloody big ask, mate, to have a track hold up. And don't forget, like, these bikes are revving harder and faster than any other speedway bikes at any other meeting, in the British League and the Swedish League. These tracks, the next night's racing is going to be a totally different ball game. And for that reason, I don't think we'll see one rider win both rounds at the same track. Do you want to have a tenor on it? Or do you think they won't either?
And also, that's the other thing as well, is the point system this year as well. If you did win 2 on the trot, you're so far ahead because of the points scheme. You could go through the card all night and then come last in the semi, and you don't get into the final. And somebody who's just scraped through with like 7 or 8 points gets through to the semi, does second in the semi, wins the final, and they're on 25 points or whatever the point system is. That could take a world championship away from somebody who has been consistent all season and just been unlucky in the finals or semis.
Yeah, I think, look, it goes back to the comment. Someone said, "Oh, look, it's Speedway." It was Jay Reid that might have said it. Here we go. Yeah, Speedway fans are mostly traditionalists, and when Speedway tries to move on, fans say, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it." They gave us GPs. They want the world finals back. Laydowns. They want uprights back. Team suits. They want individuals back. Damned if they do. Damned if they don't. What I mean by that is, people are going to say, well, it was 8 rounds. He shouldn't have won it. It was too close together. If it was over a normal Grand Prix, and that's
it's completely fair because all of them are on the same playing field. But
I think it's fair. But
there's definitely ways that this way is going to benefit certain riders and not. And then someone's just said there a second ago, Emel's not consistent, but if Emel is consistent on those 6 weeks, Tara Miller.
Tara said Emel's not consistent.
But that's even if he wasn't consistent, if he was consistent over those 6 weeks, which somebody can have form for 6 weeks, then they could be a world champion. Where, for instance, somebody who...
Look, and I don't mean that the Tara saying Emel is consistent. I don't think there's any consistency in Speedway, which is, I think, why gets it back. But if there's one guy this year that you had to say who was there or thereabouts, and look, last year's gone. The year before's gone. This year, Emel's probably the only guy that's banging in consistently big points. And Emel this year, for some reason, is standing up to the bigger names in Speedway. If he's got Leon next to him or Ty next to him, any of the Grand Prix boys, Emel seems to elevate. He really seems to be on it this year. And of Ash's boys to win the Grand Prix. We'll get Ash on as the world champion engine tuner. He'd love it. Here we go. Let's move on because there's loads of questions.
One bad bang and you're out.
What's that?
No. Ian Jordan. One bad bang and you're out. No 3 to 4 week break in to recover. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, absolutely. This one here.
Childsy, sort your drawers out.
What's wrong? Oh, yeah. And Summers.
They're yours, aren't they?
Oh, Gerry, I told you not to bring it up. There was one night with you, and I knew you were going to bring it back up.
Yeah. I don't know. So, what do you think to...
Sorry, Sue.
Yeah.
They were yours.
What do you think to the news that we heard earlier in the week about Paul Speedway? I will say, before we go any further on this subject, Matt Ford has put a statement out saying that they have no news on the stadium closing. So I put a post out saying, we should wait and see what Matt says. The news did come from Greyhounds, and maybe the Greyhounds are moving on to do something else. But as of yet, there is no official statement from Paul Speedway saying that the stadium's closed. I think maybe just for dog racing. What do you think, Chelsy?
What's that?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I thought I couldn't hear you.
Oh, no, I was just looking at me. My son just passed a note under the door saying, "You are live." Here's a good one. We had a chat today, Gerry, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how much you can say about it or if you want to say about it, but there's tracks that can run, but can't run. What? Can you share that?
Probably not.
Okay, moving on.
Well, right. Move on.
Right. Vaculic, I think. Yeah, look, mate, talk about Vaculic. Geez, on his day, he's super quick, Simon. Super quick.
Also on Ashley's engines.
Yeah, why he can't get it together that little bit extra. Like he comes out some meetings, doesn't he? And who's the other one? The little Russian.
Emel?
No.
Artem Laguta.
Yeah, Artem. He'll have 18 one meeting and then the next meeting score 3. But when things are right, and Vaculic seems to be one of those guys. Yeah. I feel. I
tell you who I would like to get on the show is I spoke to at Cardiff last year. I spoke to Raphael, and he's Artem Laguta's. I think he's his manager, and the stuff that Artem has on his bike is insane. He's using F1 technology in a speedway bike, and he doesn't mind talking about it. They've got things like on the back wheel, they've got a valve that goes in the tire. So because the tire's spinning, it obviously generates friction, which generates heat. Heat expands and makes the tire pressure go from, say, 5 or 6 pounds in the back tire. It could be up to 9 by the end of the race.
Yeah.
So Artem's got this special valve in his tire, which is made for F1, which allows the pressure to come out once it goes over the pressure that they want. So, it keeps him at the same pressure to keep the same drive going throughout the race, which is such a little tiny thing to think about, but that's what they're doing. There was another thing that he showed me, the way that Artem uses the clutches with his fingers. So he keeps this finger on the handlebars and uses a clutch like that. But obviously, if you pull the clutch in, you're going to crush this finger. So this guy who is at Mercedes F1 team has designed a clutch lever and CNC'd it to make it so it goes around his finger, so he can pull the clutch in right against the handlebars and still be able to clench the handlebars with that finger there. These little differences and he has a bearing inside the clutch lever. Oh my God, it was ridiculous. Like, I geek out on this shit. Like, I love it. But yeah, you had a little bearing inside there, so there's absolutely no drag on the clutch lever at all because it's it's on this bearing. It's insane. Somebody like him would be cool to come and bring him onto the Speedway Chat show.
Jason did that. Crumpy had that with Red Bull with his connection with Weber. Hopefully, we'll still talk with Jace to have him on soon.
I had a message earlier today that Jason's going to message me this week about coming on the show.
Right, perfect. Jason had some stuff. The F1 guys love this. The F1 mechanics apparently love Speedway because it's so raw and it challenges their mind on how they can stay within legalities, but still improve the rideability. So Jason actually had some RB chassis that were designed, I believe, and when we get him on the show, we'll ask him. But I'm pretty sure it was designed to stop vibration, so you'd have arm pump. Because arm pump is when you get so much vibrations and you're hanging on. You know, a lot of riders have it. A lot of MotoGP riders have surgery for it, because if you suffer with arm pump with riding a motorbike, you can't hang on. Your arms swell up, too much blood in there from the vibrations, and you lose. So the Red Bull guys designed some forks and a different dampener system that tried to eliminate, and handlebars to eliminate arm pump. So that was pretty impressive, and I like how these guys have it, but no one else has access to it, which is that's great. Tanya there as well. Yeah. Oh, of course, Streety. What a legend. Obviously, Crumpy's godfather. So yeah, if we get Jason, I'm pretty sure Neil Street would be mentioned in the highest regard. Spent a lot of time with him at Newport. He's just a gentleman, and he used to say, right, just a quick story about Streety. He used to run straw in his tires because he didn't want to put air in them, cost too much. But he used to say to Craig, like, Craig, what I would win a race, and Streety be there as a team manager. He'd come in, he says, yeah, it's good, but you need to get it over and get it on. You need to get it over. Like, Streety was all about getting the bike over, and it was just what a true legend of the sport. You'd see him in Croatia one night on a Saturday at the GP. He'd catch 3 buses, a ferry, and a taxi, and he'd still be at Newport on the Sunday. How he did it, I don't know. Never flew, though. Wouldn't fly. It was always trains.
Really?
Yeah. Just
no way.
The cheapest way. Yeah, he'd turn up on the Sunday at Newport. How'd you get here, Streety? Mate, stayed up all through the night. He's just, what a legend. I'd say arguably the most travelled person in Speedway history. I'd go for in terms of yeah, just a legend.
Yeah, legend. I remember when I was riding and stuff. I used to go to Newport for the practice days and things like that. Used to ride with your mate Goffey, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to Legoland next week.
Oh yeah, you said, yeah.
In Denmark.
Yeah.
It's cheaper, right? It's cheaper I'm taking the boy because I'm a Lego fan as a kid. He loves Lego. Goffey and his boy are going. It was £200 cheaper to go to Stansted, hop on a plane to Denmark, go to Legoland, stay at Legoland, have the next day at Legoland, fly back, than it was to go down to Legoland and stay there for a night in London.
In Windsor.
Windsor, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to Legoland next week. I'm pumped. I can't wait.
Have you seen the Lego Speedway bike you can get?
Yeah, is it a Speedway bike?
Not really.
It's one with number 9 on it, isn't it? Yeah, is it?
I can't remember. Yeah.
Anyway, I'll bring you one back. Yeah, look, this one, Niels Christian Everson. What a tough gig. I spoke to him on, what are we on now? I don't even know what day it is now. They all roll into one, but I really feel for Niels. And like most riders, not riding, but he hasn't had the best season, has he? I think he's rode 5 or 6 meetings and injured before. He got to ride in Enga with a teammate, and now the broken hand. So yeah, tough couple of years for Niels, which is a shame. But we're starting to see this year, different little stories of pockets of, bad luck come out, and you wouldn't want to have too many crashes or engine failures and stuff this year, the stuff that costs you money or no scores, because it's just not enough money going around in terms of meetings this year, is there? So tough gig.
Yeah. So what Neil Street was his granddad, it says here, not godfather. Is that right?
No,
his granddad.
Godfather. Is it Grandad, is it?
I'm sure someone's about to tell us.
Soon. No.
I've got a feeling that it was his granddad.
Yeah, that's what I said, didn't I?
You said godfather.
Same thing. Starts with a G. Let's move on.
Yeah.
She likes flying into Legolanders. Yeah, Legoland either side's wicked. That's where we're going into Billund. Yeah, so literally 200 quid cheaper than to keep your money in Britain. I just don't get it. They want people to go back into the economy, doing things safe. But yeah, it was 200 quid cheaper to fly to Denmark. Probably going to charge me a fortune when I'm there, though, for something.
Yeah.
Sorry, late to the show. 100 lines. Jesus. Say no to drugs, Stephen.
So we've got we've had 450 stars today.
Oh, right. How much is that,
so
Gerry?
far? $4.50. So that's what, £3? Legend. Yeah. So if you'd like to donate to me and Childsy, 450 stars is roughly no, it's not even a pint. But if we can get to 2,000 stars in one show, which is what, about 12 quid.
Here he goes. He's
then
doing his maths.
Yeah, which we will give you one of our Speedway Chat Show hats, which is a grand total of 13 quid. So we'd actually be out of pocket, but it's what we do it for.
We do it. Hey,
someone just said he's just donated 2,000 stars.
Who did? No one donated 2,000.
It's not come through. On the.
Oh, I just had a private message. It come directly to me, Jez.
So today we've had Adrian Smart, Tara Miller, and Stephen Finley are the people who have donated money, and then I did one earlier, which was to make that video. So that was the other 100. So yeah, that's strange. Sorry about that, Dave. But yeah, if it comes through, we'll definitely announce you and yeah, like I said,
Dixie,
do you want to buy us a coffee?
I think Dixie Dean needs to donate some stars, and then I'll meet you at the pub after the show for some beers.
Yeah. Are the pubs open now?
Yeah, but tell you what, my wife went to the local pub across the road. I won't mention their name for legal reasons. Yeah, she went there on Friday after work. She worked till 8 o'clock and then met some work colleagues up the pub at 8:30 and was home by 10:10. I said, "What are you doing home?" She said, "They kicked us out." So she said, "It's really socially awkward. You got to order on your phone. They bring you your drinks and they're shutting earlier," which, I don't know. Don't do it in England. I might move to Kent. Life's buzzing down there.
Just come to Cornwall because here.
Streety was Jason's mum's dad. Yes, I knew there was something. Thank you, Mr. Rowlandson.
So Dave, apparently he's where have you gone now?
I pressed on the
stars. Yeah, stars. So you can buy an amount of stars, and then once you've bought the stars, you then allocate however many you want in that one session. So you might have bought the stars, but not necessarily pass them on through this video, because you could do it over a load of videos. But yeah, Dave, really appreciate any donations that you have. That'd be great.
Documentary, Stephen. Yeah, I started to. And I think Mary Alice, someone from Glasgow, Mary Alice, I forget her name. She always asks, I will get around to it. I just really haven't had much time off to be able to sit down and watch as much Netflix as I can. I think it's on YouTube, actually. But I will get around to it. I had a lovely time up at Glasgow 2007. I was on the tools for Watto. Shane Parker was in the team. Great weekend away that was, every weekend. So yeah, I got fond memories of Glasgow. Really good place. So I definitely will watch it, mate. Just haven't really had the time to sit down. And
John Nethercott has also donated 100 stars. Thanks for that,
my
John.
man. Do you want to come up here, Jezza? We'll go to the pub after this.
Yeah, we can spend all of our 550 stars.
There was a question about where would we like to see a Grand Prix. Where was that one? We didn't get to answer that one. I would like to do that. There's loads of questions we missed. We'll get onto them now.
Where would you like to see a Grand Prix, Childsy? If you didn't need the massive audience and all the rest of it, like just for the track.
Oh, what? So an existing track?
Yeah, an existing track that Oh, that's a good question. All right, so existing track first.
Existing track that doesn't have a Grand Prix that deserves a Grand Prix.
No, just one that you'd like to see a Grand Prix at. Like I said, like there's tracks in Australia, for instance, that don't have a grandstand that are going to be able to hold all the people in you'd have for a Grand Prix. So that wouldn't get considered. Is there any track?
If there's got to be a track that I think would separate men from the boys, would be Mildura in Victoria. They had a World Under-21 there a few years ago. The Polecats took it. But Mildura has produced, I think there was a comment earlier as well, Lee Adams, Jason Crump, Jason Lyons, Corey Gabriel, the Sedgemans, the list goes on. Mildura is in the right prepared track is a traditional home of Australian Speedway, I think. That's still there. So yeah, Mildura would be for a Grand Prix. What was the next one?
Well, I would say Newcastle.
What, as in
Australia?
Oh, the showground or the Motordrome?
No, the showground, the one that we went to.
Yeah,
I'd love to see one there. That was the fastest I've ever seen Speedway bikes go.
Yeah, so what year was that, Jezza?
2005. It was January 2005.
Right, so it was at the Shorten showground.
Yeah, and apparently it was even bigger before.
Yeah. So the showground used to run all the way up. So Ben 1 and 2 used to be the exhibition center, that big building, and it used to nearly hit that, but then they shortened it because it got too close to the building or something. But yeah, it was you seen the small showground. But yeah, I think the guys in Speedway in the Grand Prix, it'd be nice, but I think it'd be pretty processional. Those big open tracks are obviously not tame for passing, but fast. Yeah,
fast, real fast. Okay, so where would you like to see a Speedway meet, a Grand Prix? Then, if it could be any location in the world, where would you say?
Las Vegas.
I was going to say Vegas as well. How cool would that be?
Man, I'd be booking like block tickets like 10 years in advance to go to Vegas. Like, I think.
Have you been?
I think if Speedway's in Vegas, I'd be able to go to Vegas just because it's Speedway, and because I don't think she'll let me go just to go.
Yeah. Have you never been?
Oh yeah, twice. Took her there for my honeymoon. 2 weeks.
Right, sweet.
Yeah, been twice.
Treated her.
Look, I think Las Vegas for a Speedway event. Just imagine the after party. Choice.
Yeah, there'll be some of them not coming home. Yeah. No, Vegas would be cool.
Oh, Vegas would be rad, wouldn't it? Oh, and look, it's not far from LA either. It's 4 hours or something.
No. How good is it when I watch the videos for the Bruce Pennell World Final at LA Coliseum? Like, how cool was that? That was epic.
Yeah, look,
what a place.
America, for everything Greg and Billy and Bruce have done, Bobby Swartz, you can go through the young guys, Billy Gennaro, Ryan Fisher. They all do their bit from America. And I know they have their little indoor things, which they're quite quirky at, those little invitationals and those little indoor meetings. Look, I think United States of America is owed one, just purely on their commitment to the sport. I really do hope it is, and I really do hope it's Vegas. But look, if they have it in New York, I'm pretty sure we can still end up in Vegas.
Road trip, Speedway Chat Show road trip.
Yeah, closer to Vegas, the better. It's got to be like LA or something. But Vegas has got a really good sprint car track, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, haven't they? Like they got the paved one, and then they got the sprint car track next to it. Surely that there's room there to put a bike track in and do something, Yeah.
The other place that would be cool is just because of the what's the word? I can't think of the word. But Daytona Speedway, that would be the place to do it. They have Daytona Bike Week in February, and they've got so much space there. They could put a speedway track in and do that. Then that would be epic. I spoke to Steve Luxton before, and he said about putting one in there.
Dublin. I've never been to Dublin. I think that's what Tanya meant by the party begins on the ferry. Hope she's not catching a ferry to Vegas. Where do you want to catch a ferry to, Tanya?
It's a bloody long way.
Yeah, maybe it's
Madison Square Garden indoors. That'd be a good one.
Who's New that York, one?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Ian Jordan.
Yeah. Olympic Park there's loads in there. You'll run the riders with Vegas. Oh, mate. What have we started? Oh, how good would Vegas be?
I have heard. I think it was Amanda Castagna was saying in one of Greg's podcasts that when Discovery Eurosport take over the Grand Prix series is it 2022? They're looking to go to Argentina and South America with the Speedway Grand Prix series to make it more of a worldwide series and not just in Europe. Hong Kong, that would be a wicked one. Have you ever been to Hong Kong, Childsy?
Me love a long time now.
I don't think you can say that.
What?
Hong Kong, amazing. One of my favourite cities in the world. I loved Hong Kong.
What do you mean I can't say that?
Let's just skip over it. Pretend you didn't say anything at all, right?
Okay, cool. Weird. Dublin. Okay, yeah, Dublin. You do get a ferry to Dublin. I'd fly anyway.
Yeah, business class.
The only other thing I'm thinking, Gerry, is maybe we can start like this private committee, and we'll call it Speedway Progression Committee, and then we can say we've got to fly to Vegas to make sure the venue would be okay.
I'm always up for going to Vegas.
All right, let's go to Vegas. Anyone want to come to Vegas with us? We'll just go on a Speedway hunting
Recce.
tour. Monaco? Have it around the swimming pool, perhaps. That'd be good. National Speed. Yeah, look, Chris, I think it's an obvious answer, and I guess
the racing would be good. But could they put 20,000 people in there? Probably not. Yeah.
And we know that people are money hungry, don't we? So, look, Olympic Park in East London. I'm spewing. I miss that era. The Wembley, the Hackney, the Wimbledon days. I would have loved to go to some of those tracks in London.
I went and watched England play someone in the football. I don't like football at all. But I went to Wembley recently, and I was there thinking, what a waste. The grandstand goes right into the pitch now, where the old Wembley was massive. It had the football pitch and there was so much space outside, where you can imagine that's where the speedway track was and things like that. So like Wembley would be wicked, but it's never going to happen now the way they've got it all set out. But what are you looking at? What are you looking so confused for, Childsy? Oh yeah, that's him saying that he's paid Facebook for the stars, right. Okay, but I think he just needs to click on the star again and actually he'll have a balance of how many stars he has, and then he can allocate stars to us if you want to allocate stars to us. Like I said, we're not asking for any, but if we appreciate any, we get.
Last person I spanned for was Todd Kurtz at Curry in 2015. Made a guest appearance for old TK on the tools at Curry on the tools. But nah, I'm not. I don't think Janet. Have you ever spun a spanner, Jez?
Yeah, who did I span it for? I span it for lots of people. I span it for Stefan Mel. Do you remember him? The German guy. Lots of people from like Trelawney and stuff like that. I was sort of always in the pits and go away with all the boys. I spanned for Tony Svab Emiliano Sanchez.
Yeah.
Zagar. I remember when Strider finished working for Crumpy, Crumpy put a thing out saying he wanted someone to spanner for him, and I was like desperate to get that job. I said, I'll do it. And he said to me, he said, I will bring this up when he comes on the show, but he said you shouldn't ever have someone working on the horse that wants to ride the horse at the same time, which I get what he's saying, but I'm pretty sure
that was a nice
statement,
way of saying no, though.
Yeah. Great way of saying no. But it also, I think, was the start of me realizing that I actually didn't want to ride Speedway. I actually did like working on the bikes just as much as I did racing, I think. You know? I'm still here now. I've got bikes here now, and I love just tinkering with them. And yeah, it's good. But who else? Oh, in fact, Davey Watt was probably the last person I spannered for.
Oh, Davey. Bloody got some good
Davey Watt. It was
going, living the life in Queensland. Oh, Davey Watt.
Yeah, Davey Watt sent me a message. Well, he didn't send me a message. He said, "Is anybody about to spanner for me tonight?" And I was living in London, and I said to my housemate, I was like, "Have you ever been to Speedway?" And he was from South Africa, and he's like, "No, don't know what Speedway is." So we jumped in my van. I just messaged Davey and said, I'll come and spanner for you. Drove all the way to Coventry from London, and went and spannered for him. He didn't buy me a bloody sandwich, nothing, just say thanks. He just went, "All right, mate, cheers, thanks very much," and left and went home. I went, "All right, see you later." So we drove home again. Yeah. Mother. I see mothers moaning about getting run over again.
Yeah, Davey Watt, when he first landed in the country, he was coming to work for Sam Ermolenko and got turned around at Heathrow, got sent back.
No way.
Yeah, true story. Great stuff. Listen,
Daisy was awesome.
Don't mean to be rude. I'm going to go and have my dinner. Been a good chat. I like these ones, Jez. Thanks for your contributions tonight, everyone. Thank you for everyone that sent a gold star. We had some good little topics there. Hope we got across the points that your comments and things were asked. And again, if we missed anything, totally apologize. But yeah, it's we're in some strange times, and the news doesn't look good in terms of this ending anytime soon. So we'll
wait there 2 seconds.
Oh,
let's see. Apparently he's donated again.
Oh, and Sue, I don't know who Daisy was, but I private messaged you on Messenger and you didn't even read it. It's mad. I sent you some photos of Nala. Anyway, good chat. I've nearly got 100 friends on Facebook, Jezza.
There we go. Gavin just gave us 50 stars.
Cheers, guys.
And Dave still not showing us our end. I don't know why. But I think he's probably just buying more stars. It goes into like a little bank for himself. But anyway.
Where's our Speedway Chat Show hats, Gerry?
Our Speedway Chat Show hats are at Mark Phillips's house. He picked them up, and he has them at his house, and I've got to go and pick them up, but I just haven't had time. I will try and do that this week. Cool.
I've nearly got 100 friends on the Facebook.
Yeah, that's pretty good going, Childsy.
I know.
Do you know who I met at the weekend? Did I tell you?
The guy from the Prodigy.
The guy from the Prodigy, yeah. I did meet him, but Rupert Churchill. His grandfather, great grandfather was Winston Churchill.
Oh, the skateboarder. How cool
is that? Yeah, the skateboarder.
Yeah, cool. Good chat.
Yeah.
I'm going.
All right, guys. So Charles is going to go. I'm going to shoot. Adios. See you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.